Hello again, my fellow pajama wearing past 10 a.m. folks. In today's video, we have a purple belt versus a black belt. But first, I will be taking on a purple belt slash gym bro and another purple belt with the explosive power of 1,000 suns. All that and more coming up in this episode of no-gi grappling at the gym while talking at the same time about grappling. Let's get into it. Alright, you guys have spoken and I have listened. For the past several millennia of this channel's existence, you have been asking me for some high-octane, high-quality no-gi rounds, and baby, that's what we've got today. We have a no-gi gear sponsor, so if you want to see how to get some affordable, high-quality no-gi gear, stick around until the end of the video. Alright, class, grab a seat, get you a cup of coffee, and let's crack into this bad boy. Hello guys, welcome back. In this first round, I will be taking on Alex, the conniving king of weird scrambles. Now, he may look like a little bit of a smaller guy, but I promise you, every single muscle in his body is one of those fast twitch 0 to 100, jump over the moon type of muscles. He has a tricky bottom game, like to play a lot of reverse De La Riva guard, but he's also got an excellent shot and will not stop running after you until he gets the takedown or dies. So let's roll the tape and see what happens. On this day, the white and colored belts were all mixed together, making the mats hella crowded. So we all started in closed guard so as to not bump into other people. Here I grab his head, step on his hip, and shove his wrist to his chest, looking for a triangle choke. But he pulls his left elbow out, forcing me to bail on my attack. Here I snap him down as I hook his ankles with my shins. He lowers his levels to prevent the sweep and attempts a backstep pass, but I still have his top leg hooked with my butterfly, preventing him from passing to side control. I grab his shin to keep his top leg locked down and then turn it into him, looking to complete the sweep. As I come up, he's able to scramble and get up to his feet. As I look to snap him down again, he tries to smash past me but ends up in my closed guard. I battle for a submission from closed guard for a minute before deciding to open my guard. He's able to pull his elbows to the mat looking for a stack pass, so I walk my shoulders back, grab his hands, and eventually pummel my legs back in for guard. Here I hook his leg with my shin and stand up, popping up on a single leg. From here, he does a good job of grabbing my wrist and doing a little bouncy to keep himself upright. Until I frame on his neck and push his head as I sweep his leg. I then post on his ribs, drive my knee across his thigh, and lower my head, driving it into him, looking to flatten him out on the mat, grabbing his bottom wrist to keep him from turning into me. I then walk my hips to the other side, putting him in 3/4 mount. But here he frames on my right thigh and puts me in his half guard, so I use my right arm to pummel in front of his left to keep him from popping up with a left underhook. I then drive my right knee forward, post on his bottom knee, putting myself back in 3/4 mount. From here, I use my left shin to pull my other leg out, passing into full mount. And from mount, I'm a big fan of crossing my ankles underneath my partner's hips to keep him from exploding or turning into me. I then wipe my shin across for knee on belly. As he turns into me, I like to spin around to his back, but he locks my bottom leg, and as I sit down looking to take his back, he spins around and gets out. As he tries to stabilize top position, I frame and get back up to my feet. As I grab his neck, he sits in pulling quarter guard, so I grab his bottom wrist looking to flatten him out on the mat. Here I let him get up to his elbow so I can dive over his back, locking up a Kimura attack, but he's able to time it, run away, and pull his elbow out to get out of it. Hey bro, you want to see a magic trick? Nope. As I look for another trip single leg, he lowers his levels, driving into me looking for a guard pass. So I grab a wizard, get my left leg out, and get up to my feet. I then grab his right arm and hit a short Uchimata to put him back on the mat. Here he underhooks my knee looking to put me off balance, so I kick my leg back, breaking his grip. I then use my left knee to block his hip so I can step back with my right leg into side control. Here I hook his top leg, jump over, rolling on my shoulder, looking to hit a twister roll and take his back. As I look to hip out to take his back, he turns away from me, so I come up and out of the scramble, end up coming up on top, smashing his knees over to his left side. As I get up looking to step over his leg, he's able to create a little space and retain guard. And from reverse De La Riva, he looks to pop up on a single leg. I dive over his back looking for another Kimura attack, but he's able to turn away just like last time and get out. As he lowers his levels and backsteps looking to pass my guard, I hook his bottom knee as I push on his head to come up for the sweep. Keeping a tight grip on his right foot, I shove my right knee in between his legs, turn away from him, and hip in hard to get the belly down straight ankle lock. Really quick guys, if you want to see more videos just like this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because I post a video just like this one every single Friday. In case you didn't know, we're getting really close to overtaking PewDiePie, so smash that subscribe button. Now let's get back to the video. From closed guard, I straight arm his armpits, get up to my feet, he breaks his guard and hooks my leg, so I turn out, turn back in to break his grip. I then staple his bottom leg to the mat and drive my knee across his thigh to keep him there. He has an active knee shield preventing me from passing, so I grab his wrist, shove it to the mat, flattening him out, and then shove his knee out of the way. From here, he turns back into me, getting onto his side, and is doing a good job of framing and keeping himself small. So I use my left shin to open up his bottom leg, keeping him from coming out to my back. As he turns to the other side, I backstep, keeping a tight grip on my underhook. I then use my left arm to clear his bottom knee, passing all the way into side control. From here, I feed his right arm into my Kimura grip and walk my hips above his head to get the tap. Welcome back, guys. Our next partner, Armin, is a solid purple belt. Solid pressure and passing from the top, solid sweeps and takedowns from the bottom. He is both my favorite and least favorite person to roll with at the same time. And boy, quads looking big. Let's roll the tape and see if that gets in my head today. Here we have a classic case of Armin digging in his head and keeping his elbows tight to my body just to be difficult. As I open my guard looking for an arm drag, he gets up to his feet and tries to control my legs looking for a quick guard pass. I pull my legs back so he can't control my body and pass. Sitting up into open guard, I lean forward to make it harder for him to grab my feet again. Here he jumps in and sidesteps my guard. I look for a straight ankle attack, but he's able to peel my legs off of him, so I have to frame hard and turn into him, hipping out aggressively to retain guard. After a whole lot of nothing happening, I decide to stand up and look for a takedown. As he goes for an arm drag, I post on his shoulder and circle away from him. Here I grab his wrist, make a penetration shot to his left ankle, and grab the single leg. He immediately counters by stepping off to my left and trying to re-drag me, hitting a single leg of his own, but I step out and circle away from him again. Now there's this book called The Secret, and it's about manifesting the life of your dreams. And there's people out there that like to hate on it and lampoon it and say it's all snake oil being sold by scammers.
Here in my garage.
But as you can clearly see right here, I manifested this takedown with nothing but the power of my mind. So take that, haters. Here I grab his ankles, stacking him on his shoulders, and drive my knees into his back to keep him from rolling back into me. I then shuck his guard by, but before I can pass, he bellies down going into turtle, so I circle around to his back. He then flattens out. As I try to stabilize side control, he throws his leg over my head right as the timer goes off. Since he has double underhooks, I posture up, thinking about standing up, but as soon as he lets go, I roll on my side, turning into him. I then grab an underhook, pull my head back, and throw my legs in to retain guard. As he steps in with his left foot, I lock up a De La Riva guard and turn to my right, putting him on his butt. I then pop up to get the sweep. Since I end up in his butterfly guard, I drive my hips to the mat and keep his shoulders flattened out. If you can't get your shoulders off of the mat, your butterfly guard is basically useless. Here I sit up, grab his hips, and look for a quick guard pass, but he decides to turn into me instead of giving me this moral victory. Here I slide my knee in between his legs, going into dope mounts, but he has his left knee pointed up at the sky, keeping me from smashing his hips. He then comes up on an arm drag, single leg, bringing his arm across my waist to run the pipe. I turn away from him and kick out to avoid the takedown points. Training with points in mind is something important for everybody that plans on competing. With a collar tie, I grab his left elbow with my right arm, and then fall to my side looking for a sitting down armbar. He's like, no bueno, so I'm like, that's fair, and instead transition to De La Riva guard. I then push his head off to the side to cut an angle, pop up on a single leg. He tries to hit a reversal, but it's kinda so I get the takedown. From his butterfly guard, I kick back my left leg, circle to my right, and step over his bottom leg into side control right around the time the timer goes off. Alright, and for the final round of the day, I will be taking on Joey. You've seen him before. With the amount of dexterity and flexibility he has in his legs, he may as well have 4 hands. As you can probably guess with this fact, his back game is pretty nuts. If Dr. Strange did Jiu-Jitsu, it would probably look something a little like this. So buckle up, guys, and let's see what happens. As soon as we start in closed guard, I straight arm his armpit so I can get up to my feet and underhook his top leg to get out of his closed guard. He immediately throws his leg over mine and grabs my heel looking for a heel hook, so I pull my knee out and grab his foot trying to get out of there. As he readjusts and attacks the heel hook again, I go with the motion of it to keep from tapping, but as I do, he times it and gets up for the sweep. Here he looks for a cartwheel pass, but I follow him over. As I do, he sits into my butterfly guard, driving his head into my chest, keeping me flat on the mat. Here I underhook his right arm and pull it off, kilter looking to set up an angle of attack. As he adjusts, I throw my right leg over his neck looking for a triangle choke, but he pulls his right arm out, so I lock up the triangle with no arm. He shrugs his shoulders trying to pull his head out, so I readjust my triangle trying to lock it down even tighter, but that gives him enough space to pull his head out. Here he looks to stack past me, so I roll into turtle and look to reverse with a single leg, but he has a tight front headlock, so he reverses me, putting me on my side. As he tries to lock up a Darce, I turn away from him, so he bails on it and goes into turtle. He then slides in his bottom hook and figure fours his legs to lock it down, so I look to turn away from him, shaking him off, but he follows me through. As I look to get up to my left knee, he shoves his hook in the gap, taking my back. So I get up on my toes, walking my way back onto his shoulders, flattening him on the mat, and at the same time using my hands to fight his grips. He looks to throw his right leg over my arm, trapping it so he can choke me, but I'm able to pull it out and fight off his choke. So he grabs my right wrist with his left and activates spider monkey mode with his legs. After a little bit of work, he's able to feed his top leg over my arm, trapping it. From here, it's only a matter of time before he locks up the choke and I have to tap. From turtle with double underhooks, I bring my shins inside his knees so he can't turn into me. He gets up on his head looking to shake me. As I try to put my hooks in, he hides his hips, so I roll forward and try to stay behind him. Here he throws his hips over my body, so I bail on the double underhook coming up into his guard. As he sits up and grabs my leg, I say screw it and dive over into a Kimura trap. He locks his hands together and uses his bottom elbow to shelf my leg, replace his elbow with his leg, and lock up the truck position. I peel my top shin in between his legs looking to free myself, and it actually works for a little bit, before he adjusts his legs and locks up the truck again. So I grab my foot with my own hand and use that to feed it in between his legs. I then flatten my shoulders on the mat, grabbing his bottom leg to create some distance. He can no longer take my back, so he looks to come up on the leg drag, but my top leg is across his shin, preventing him from doing that. But as I let go of his ankle and turn into butterfly guard, he's able to flatten me out and flip-flop over my guard. I immediately underhook his knee, pulling it over my body looking for a funk reversal, but he's one flexible boy and is able to turn, grab my neck for the rear naked choke, and get the tap. As soon as we restart, I dig my shins in his knees for control. I then bail on that, grab the over-under, and look to shove my hooks in to take the back. He tries to pull his head out backwards, so I roll with him. Grabs my top wrist, forcing me to let go of the over-under. He then pulls his shoulders away and circles his hips up towards my head to get his base under him, coming up in close guard. As I pull myself up into a takedown attempt, he dives over into the front headlock. As I look to turn into him, he threatens with the anaconda choke. So I turn away, he circles to my back and throws his hooks in. I get up to my knees and look to shake him off, but he's like, nah. He then steps over my leg and traps my arm again, looking for the choke. As he locks it up, the timer goes off. Alright guys, I finally got around to giving you guys some more no-gi. Hope you enjoyed it. As you can probably tell, it's a little harder to maintain positions in the no-gi, especially when you've got somebody that's really scrambly. And yes, it does take a different level of cardio. Generally, when you roll no-gi, the pace that you push is just a tad bit higher. But if you really like jiu-jitsu, like me, you'll probably like both gi and no-gi for their own different reasons. Oh, what's that you ask? Oh, this amazing tuxedo rash guard. Oh, thank you. Oh, where did I get it from? Well, actually the same place that you can get this cute, adorable kitty one from. xmarshall.com. They make high quality jiu-jitsu gear, shorts, rash guards like this, even gloves if you're feeling the urge to just punch someone in the face. And if you're a fellow coffee head, you can even get that amazing Starbucks one that I was wearing in this video. There's a link in the description that will get you 10% off at checkout when you use the code JEDI. Alright guys, you know what time it is. Time for me to whip this bad boy out and answer some of your questions. Tyler Dougherty says, do you find value in analyzing your rolls? Would you suggest it to others to improve? Good question, Tyler. Now I'm gonna be real with you guys. Before this channel, I never really filmed my rolling in the gym. Of course, I would film my matches at competition, but methodically going over them and breaking them down was not something I really did. Now that being said, whenever I wasn't at the gym, more often than not, I would be playing over those scenarios in my head, those scenarios where I did well, where I could have done better. So you don't have to film yourself, but it is important consciously thinking through the positions that you get caught in and that you do well from, and figuring out how to do more of the latter and less of the former. Austin Cahoe says, any advice for someone looking to compete but haven't yet? Okay, Austin, good question. I feel like competition is one of the reasons why I probably got better at jiu-jitsu quicker than most people do. And yes, I think everybody should compete at least once just to see what it's like. As far as advice for competing, Austin, be sure you prepare for it, get your conditioning up, get in a lot of hard rounds in the 2 weeks leading up to it, and then just do it. That's really all you can say. All right, and Send It 223, that's a sick name, says, just subbed, ... cause I get subbed. Helpful videos, thanks. Send It, you rock. And if you want to rock as well, then be like Send It. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell. Why? I post new videos just like this one every single Friday that you don't want to miss. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm so that other people get to see it as well. If you want to see what I'm doing day to day, head on over to Instagram, Jedi_himself. I'll link that down below. I will talk to you in the next episode. Remember, stay consistent, and you can do anything. Bye.